everybody, one mask at a time, introduce themselves and share one fun fact about yourselves. And I'm going to share my fun fact. My fun fact is I don't like two things. Animals. I don't hate animals, but I don't love animals. You won't find me hugging up a cat or kissing a dog. That's just not me. But interesting enough, my children love animals. They have turtle, fish, birds, and dogs. They want to adopt cats. Every stray animal past the house, they want to adopt it. But it's an acquired taste, and I'm getting to like some of the animals at the house now. And the other thing is, I'm not a water body person. You won't find me fighting to go swim or go to the river and so on, but my children love it. And so, again, as a mother, I am now forced to find the nearest river, beach, waterfall, anywhere that has water to take my children. And so, whilst I'm not totally swimming and loving water yet, I take my pictures, 150 of them, while they enjoy the water. So that's my fun fact. I'll hand over to Novia. She can share her fun fact, and we'll go around the room. Everybody will introduce themselves, and we'll move forward from there.
Thank you. I was actually sitting here thinking, I don't have a fun fact. Novia MacDonald-White, I'm the Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer newspaper. Fun fact. I have to have condensed milk in my coffee.
Good afternoon, I'm Claudette from NCB. So Nicole kind of put me on the spot in terms of fun facts. Well, actually, I love to watch a lot of sports, but I'm not very good at any the sports, but I'm very interested in like football, baseball, all of the sports. And I'm just kind of enjoying my transition from young to mid to middle to getting older. It's very fun, and I know like as a stadium grandma, I'm enjoying that.
Congratulations.
It's very fun.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Claudette Brooks, and my fun fact is I absolutely love water. So for me, it's just to chill on the beach, in the water, and I'm just at my place. I am a mother, very, very important to me, and I'm into wealth management. I am addicted to the stock market, and I absolutely love what I do as a profession. I've been just lucky that way. I took the bold step of leaving commercial banking in my earlier days, and I've had fun since.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Danielle Cameron Duncan. I'm also at NCB. I have two children, 8 and 6. And so on this side of the table, we're a good company. We love water. Beach is a must. Beach and other things. We won't talk about all the other things that happen on the beach, but I'm definitely trying to find an escape to keep engaged, keep me engaged. Beach tends to be that outlet, or any water, really. That's what we do for fun.
Hi everyone, Natalie Chin, Head of Advertising, Marketing and Communications at The Observer. Fun fact, I drink a little Baileys in my coffee every morning, usually by 4, just at Toops. Usually at 4 when people call and they're like, oh my God, you're so perky and bright, and I'm like, it's the drinking, but they think I'm joking. Fun fact.
Hi, I'm Lamar Harris, VP of Wealth Management, NCB Capital Markets. Next, water is my happy place, and I love dogs. But I guess fun fact, for years I had this, I don't know if everybody knows that meme, dear Lord, may my waist get smaller, my booty get bigger, well, I have not been the most diligent, and I had weigh-in and measure this week, Monday. And when the man said, oh, you're half an inch down on your waist and half an inch bigger on your booty, I said, thank you, God.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Diana Williams, the CEO and Managing Director of Lifespan Company Limited. We are the producer of Lifespan Spring Water. And I like to say we're the only naturally alkaline spring water there is. And you know what? I love water.
Water is everybody's thing.
I mean, I swim every day, either in the morning or in the afternoon. I swim.
really?
And you know, growing up, water was my go-to place as well. The beach. I live right next to the beach, so. But yeah, water is everything to me.
You would have to have a water business,
Right?
My name is Annette Wang Lee. I love water. Not to swim. I love my ponds. I love to hear it overflow. I have one in my house. That's all I love about water. But as somebody in the gas station business, I like to climb the trucks. And my friends like to drive past, take the pictures, and send to my phone. I just love that.
Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sharon Beach.
Still
I'm
morning.
the editor of Bookends Magazine at the Jamaica Observer. I don't know what fun fact I have. I am a water sign, apparently, but I don't like water. Since we're all talking about water, I love books, reading anything to do with books. So I don't know where work stops and where I begin. It's just all about books, reading, movies, that kind of thing. That's my jam. Morning, noon, and night.
Hi everyone, I'm Jazz Patrick Cole, the creative director and owner of Spaces, we're actually neighbors in the city complex. Team Water over here. Fun fact about me is that I actually particularly enjoy binge watching baking shows.
For women, a lot of times women are given that role of the money manager in the home. Many times you don't ask for it. Many times it's actually thrust upon you. But because women are naturally, a lot of persons spoke about your children or your pets and so on. We're nurturers, and so we will try to do whatever we're doing to the best of our ability. So if it is to manage a small amount or a large amount, we're going to go to the ends of the earth to do so and do it well. And I find that sometimes women make magic happen with money. If we think very simply about even a mom who has a very small income, and you wonder, how does she do that, or how did she afford to do this for her family? It's because women are more powerful than we realize, and women work extremely hard because I guess we feel we are that mother. We are, whether or not we have children, we feel like we are the mother. In my family, I have brothers, only one sister, but I have brothers, and everybody calls me, usually, not because I'm the oldest, because growing up, persons thought I was the oldest child, but I'm not the eldest, I'm actually the middle one, but persons just naturally think you're older because as women, we jump in and we take that role of the boss and we take over everybody else's business and, you know, we get in charge. But the stories are going to be diverse, but I'm sure at the heart of all our stories will be, we have made incredible things happen generally, and we've made incredible things happen with money. Actually, Claudette, as you spoke, I looked over at me and said, wow, Claudette looks fabulous, because I met Claudette 17 years ago. She won't remember, but I was working in NCB Insurance and we had a pension fund seminar, and you look amazing. And then you were seen as such an expert, and still, after so many years, you're still held in high regard. And I mean, that's just what women do. We own our craft, we own the money that we're entrusted with, and we make great things happen. And that's what today's conversation is about. So, fabulous Nova.
I just want to say, you know, the more money you have, the more fabulous you can look. I'd like to put Lamar on the spot. I have enjoyed reading her every single Sunday. And I'm not just saying that because she happens to sit in the best publication in the Caribbean. But how has that conversation, having conversation with regular folks, as opposed to, I heard you say that you lead an incredible team led by women. I mean, you're female and your team comprises women. The best way actually for us to make things work, right? That little one over there runs the Observer. So I just want to know how it has been, that conversation that you've been having with us vis-a-vis the populace versus your day-to-day job, and how it has helped or kind of opened your eyes to different possibilities.
Over the last few years, we've seen a lot more interest in the markets, right? But unfortunately, it came from young males predominantly, right? Still, I see that divide where women are uncomfortable thinking they don't know enough. But this transcends not just finance, right? I see it in interviews. They're more qualified, but they're more timid in interviews as well. Where the articles, I'm hoping, will bring us to a point where women are more confident in their finances, and even in how they communicate. We feel we need to be 10 times more qualified in every way before we open our mouths or we present, or this fear of being wrong, where I don't find the opposite sex could be wrong enough, but they're confident in their wrongness, right?
Wrong and strong.
Wrong and strong.
They're confident with it. Even down to the youngest person, male I've interviewed, I'm telling him nothing but foolishness, but him confident in foolishness, right? I've also found that the articles, even though we targeted women, are being read a lot by men. Right?
Well, it shouldn't just be our audience, not just females. You see, the men, don't forget, hide and read. They don't want people to know
that they're reading. But I know when they ask me questions about the article, I'm like, oh, so you're reading the women's section.
Yes.
So what I found is, and how I was taught finance, I should be able to explain it to anybody at Coronation Market. Right? And the articles are really to just bridge that gap. So in the plainest or the simplest terms, that don't look on the complicated names, don't look on what mezzanine finance, and right there you feel, oh, I'm tapped out. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
Subordinate.
Before we eat, I'm going to just ask Claudette to offer a word of prayer, and feel free to eat
Ignore
while we
some
are
of the
talking,
criminals,
because
right?
it's a working
Lord, dear God and Heavenly Father, we thank you for this January today. Thank you for allowing us to come together as women with the theme Empowered Women and Empowering Women. Let us continue to serve, let us continue to help, dear God. We are seen as the conversation is going as nurturers. And let us continue to give the respect that money has. And dear God, we thank you. Help that this conversation be really uplifting to all of us. We thank you for each and every mercy that you will extend to us.
Amen. Thank you.
Lamar, go.
Oh, so I was just saying, the articles are just to make it as simple as possible, to say, to take away that intimidation or that air of, okay, this is outside of my realm, outside or beyond me. Because to be honest, if it's not your field, you're not expected to know. That's why we're here to explain it, and anyone who approaches you to discuss finance should be willing to give you the time and be comfortable with you understanding before selling, because it's a relationship. I always say that your first point should never be to sell anybody anything, especially something that they do not understand.
How has that pushed you individually, or has it?
I come from some very driven women, right? Who have done the mickle, the muckle, and figured out, and the back of the envelope, the children, head of household. Even if the men were figuratively the head, I knew who ran the house. Right? It's as you get older, you realize, oh, this is how this really works, right? I knew who, and I find it even in finance sometimes, you can know when a strong woman is at home. I need to speak to my wife and I'll get back to you on that one. Or it's a family decision. They coach it around, So I'm happy that I'm seeing more of that, where it's not just, okay, whatever, I make the decision for the family and everybody. No, let me have that discussion before the decision is made. And that has been a huge transition over the last 20 years in my experience that I've seen. I'm seeing that more, right? And I'm seeing more women engaging around the family's wealth, whether it is that they inherited it, right? And they're now, before it used to pass to the son.
Yes.
That's not automatically happening anymore. It's passing to the most capable person, because people now realize wealth is lost by the third generation. And fortunately or unfortunately, we're finding in families the most stable person tends to be the daughter. So whether quietly, yes, they have the son in the business, not putting him out there, and they're encouraging it, but when it comes to the money matters, they're dragging their daughters to the meetings.
Very early in my career, in the early 90s, when I joined the capital markets, at that time I joined with Edward Gill, which is now NCB Capital Markets. Somebody said to me, Claudette, never you think gender. In the work world, never think gender. And I
was that a male or a female?
Female.
Okay.
Very well. Because once you start thinking gender, you tend to act in an almost stereotypical way. And for me, I had parents who was just very motivating, and there was nothing that you couldn't achieve or do. And even sometimes, as an entrepreneur, in the capital markets, you will find men who think gender. So you may be supervising persons who still think gender. And say there may be certain discussions, they say, boy, Ms. Crooks, I think it ought to be two males have this discussion with this particular staff member. And in instances, you facilitate. But I think it's important as women managing our careers and also managing our homes. Especially if we're a strong woman, we need to know when to switch roles. And there's a point at which you lead, and there's a point at which you follow, in order to have the career thriving and the home functional.
Balance.
So, and certainly in leadership as well, that happens. Certainly if you're leading with a group of managers, and personally I see my managers as my equal. And so there are times when they will lead and I will follow. And there are times when I will lead and they will follow. So I think it's important for us to recognize that I had the experience that you had, where you had to be more qualified, you had to sound brighter. Because when I joined the capital markets in 1991, the stock brokerage in particular, it was male, it was all male dominated.
Yes.
And then, even in terms of the customers, it was primarily male. And once they see a female, they think, boy, she don't have much sense,
I've been told that. As a woman,
and so I had to SWOT the annual reports. I had to SWOT them. So when they came, they said, well, BNS did 36% year over year, the net profit margin is, and I had to just work harder than the typical male in the same position. And it actually worked for my benefit as an individual, because having had to put in the work, then after a while you got the results. So it's very important we recognize that even in business now, running an entity and managing money, it is still not a level playing field as a CEO, president, female, versus CEO, president, male. And even when we're dealing with financial institutions, we still face that kind of a gender issue. And one has to know how to navigate that and get the desired outcomes. So the objective for most of us who are nearing retirement is now to how to ensure that our children, the next generation, is equipped to be successful at what they love without any limits, and at the same time manage the family and the home in a very successful manner.
Well, in my business, I'm in the gas station business, right? So in my business, it's mostly male dominated. But most of what the female would experience, I don't think I could experience that because I grew up with 9 brothers. So I'm always with the male. So you have a lot of them though. As a female, I feel really good with the business that I am in because a lot of them look towards me to guide them. So, although it's a more dominated field, you have a handful of women in there, and I just feel proud that I am on top of the whole game of the women thing in the field, because you have more men who look up to me as a woman than the women them that is, in the business.
I too am in the field of business, which is mostly men. My company is True Finishes Limited, and we import building materials. My husband is an architect, and I remember going on a trip with him the very first time, and he was trying to source this particular item for industrial kitchens. And I said to him, boy, do you see how much up and down we do? Why we don't carry this product? And he said, carry the product, and it's only, like he said, only when the hotels are refurbishing the kitchens. And I interacted with the gentleman who we met with, and I started to sell it in the backyard. Bring them in, and they would be sitting there for a while because it wasn't an item that was going fast enough. And I jumped on a plane and went to Miami and started to research how I can consolidate buying from this one, buying from this, and putting it all together. And from my backyard to 1,800 square feet, from 1,800 square feet, thanks to NCB, I now have 13,000 square feet of warehouse spaces to carry all that I can for now, because I want to go further. But I don't think we as women are limited, not because we grew up in a society to recognize that the male is always ahead of us. Being in business as women is no limitation for us. Don't care who dominates the field, we can rise. And we will rise as women because we are seeing it. For even today, my husband used to call me, because I don't have a degree, him call me QBE, which is qualified by experience.
Right. Right.
And my experience has taken me thus far that when I drive down Maxfield and look at my building, I said to myself, wow.
I think that's lovely. NCB got you that building without your husband's name. Well done, Lamar.
Yes, and let me tell you something. My manager, I'm coming from Patricia Cole, coming down to Maxine. There is nothing that I can tap into Maxine and say, what you think about this? And she said, all right, I have you, Sharon. Give me that. And
good girl.
That is what I realized, that people, women in positions like Maxine and Pat, will look out for us as individuals, as women in business, and help us to soar. And that is what we are as women sitting at this table today, making things happen.
I can identify with what she's saying. I was told that a woman places in the house having babies and looking after babies. That's what I was told. And I can remember me venturing out. I went to NCB by King Street. I don't know downtown very well. There was an NCB down by King Street near to the tax office. There was a manager there, his name is Mr. Brown. I don't remember his first name. And I said to him, I'd like to start a business. I want to go into rent a car. And would you believe it? I was maybe about 22 years old. A man gave me 5 cars. I grew it to 20 something, almost 30. Then I came out of that and went into gas station in CB again.
Based on what Claudette said, I was kind of a bit despondent when Claudette spoke, because I was like, but things have surely changed in terms of a woman not being capable and not leading and not being comfortable leading. If